Hey there, welcome back. My name is Katie and this is Louisiana Cooking and Living. And today we're going to be doing some Valentine's treats. Well, today we're doing one treat. We're going to be doing 4 different videos on Valentine's goodies that you can make at home and serve to your family or your loved one because it's so expensive to go out these days. And I actually did a little series last year and I will kind of sprinkle those videos up in the cards up here at the top throughout this video, and so that you can check those out too if you'd like to check them out for other ideas. But today we're going to be making an angel food cake. I thought this would be a perfect little light dessert to make for Valentine's Day with some berries and some whipped cream. So we're going to go ahead and get started making this cake. I did get this recipe from somebody off of YouTube, and I will link his original video in the description box, but honestly I don't even remember the name of the page. So we're going to get started and get making this cake. All right, in this cake recipe, he gives measurements as well as weights. So we are going to weigh them out. I do have a food scale. And so the first thing we're going to weigh out is our sugar. And we need either 1 3/4 cup of sugar or 350 grams. So I'm going to zero my scale out and I'm going to weigh out 350 grams of sugar. I need to change it from ounces to grams. All right, 350 grams. Now I'm going to check and see what this was. This was just under 1 3/4 cups. All right, so there's our sugar. And I'm not even sure the guy's name in the video, but he talked about needing super fine sugar for this recipe. And so, and we're going to be sifting our ingredients numerous times. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to run our sugar through the food processor to make it even more fine than it already is. So let me go ahead and get that done. All right. Let's see if you can tell this. Where'd my tablespoon measure go? Let's see. I'm not sure if you can tell the difference in this sugar and how much more fine it is than it was before. But this is our super fine sugar now, and we're going to measure out a cup of this to save on the side. All right, that's our 1 cup saved to the side. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to measure out our flour. I'm going to save this for a second. I'm going to pour this into another bowl. We're going to use our food processor again. So we're going to measure out our flour. And this we're going to need 1 cup of cake flour. But the measurements would be 112 grams. But he also gives us a way to use all-purpose flour instead of cake flour. So if you don't want to buy the cake flour and you just have all-purpose flour, that's what I'm going to be using today, so that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is measure out our 112 grams, zero out my scale. So let's go with 112 grams. Now the reason why weights are different than measurements, because this was a cup of flour and I didn't use all this flour. Flour can become more dense and packed depending on how you scoop it and also your humidity. So this is 112 grams for me. So the way he says to change it, if you are using all-purpose flours, we're going to take out 3 tablespoons of flour. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to add back in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. All right, so that's our flour mixture. And now to our flour mixture, we are going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And we're going to put this back in our, well, I need to click my little blade back down. So I'm adding my sugar back into that. So we're going to add this to our food processor and we're going to blend this now. And that's the last thing we're going to weigh, so I'm going to move my scale out of the way. All right, he says we need to pulse this 10 times. All right, we've pulsed that, and now we're going to sift it. An angel food cake is very light and fluffy, and it does not use any leaveners to make it light and fluffy. It only uses the egg whites. And so I'm going to put this in the sink because we don't need the food processor anymore. We want our ingredients to be as light and fluffy as possible also. So that's why we want to make sure they're super fine, and we are sifting them all. So I'm going to get this sifted. Let's see if this is quicker. Oh yeah. All right, it looks like it's probably my salt that didn't go through really. All right, so I have just a little bitty bit of salt, I guess it didn't go through. All right, and then we are going to sift our 1 cup of reserved, powdered or sugar that we have ran through the food processor. Probably should have had a bigger bowl than that for this, or a smaller sifter. Let me get a smaller sifter because I'm afraid I'm going to make a big old mess. All right. So I just had a little bit of the sugar that didn't go through also, but that's okay. All right, to our dry ingredients, we have our bowl of flour, salt, and the cornstarch and sugar, and then our just regular sugar. I do have my oven on 350 degrees preheating. Okay, to our very clean mixing bowl, we're going to be adding our egg whites to this, and he says we need 10 to 12 egg whites or 355 grams of egg whites. So I've put my scale away and forgot I needed to measure this. So let me grab my scale again because we're going to measure our egg whites. When you are going to make meringues, you need to have everything super clean. If there's any speck of grease, your eggs will not beat and fluff up to make your meringue. So we brought our eggs to room temperature. So we're going to, let's see, get all my bowls situated here. I'll put my egg white in this one. Put our yolk in this one. Pour this in my bowl over here so we don't contaminate. We want to make sure we don't have any bit of yolk because that will not whip up either. I forgot to pre-measure my bowl before adding my egg whites, so I have an empty one here. We'll zero out our scale with our empty one. And now put this over here, and we're looking for 355 grams. We're at 148. Oop. All right, all eggs are different sizes, and these are my eggs from my yard, so they're not definitely not consistent with size. So we may need actually more than 12. I'm at 320. We need to get to 355. This is a big egg, so maybe this will be it. We're at 352. So I'm going to get one small egg to add to this. All right. Ooh. All right, there we go. Now we don't need our scale anymore. Let me wash my hands. All right, to our really clean mixing bowl, we're going to add our egg whites. And to this, we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of cream of tartar. This helps stabilize your egg whites when you're making your meringue. And we are going to mix this on low until they are foamy and fluffy. So let me get this mixing, and we will be back when we have some soft peaks. All right, so we are to the stage where it's light and fluffy, and what we're going to do is we're going to increase our speed to medium, and our cup of just sugar, not our dry ingredients with our flour, we are going to scoop this in 1 tablespoon at a time and make sure it is completely mixed in before we add the next one. So we have our sugar in here completely mixed in, but we're going to let this continue on medium for about 5 minutes till we get soft, glossy peaks. And then we're going to add in our other dry ingredients. All right, so here we are with our soft, glossy peaks. You can see how glossy it is. And then you can see our little peak there. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add our vanilla to this. Ooh, don't go all the way in. And to this, we're going to be adding 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Let's mix this in. And then to our dry ingredients, now this is our flour and the rest of our sugar and a little bit of salt. We're going to add this in thirds and make sure it's thoroughly combined. I'm actually going to take it off and I'm going to fold in the rest. We want to be as gentle as possible. All right, so folding just means you're going to go from the top back up, or the bottom back up to the top. We're just going to fold it around like this. We don't want to lose any of the air we have put into our egg whites. So we're being very gentle. All right, I'm going to add the last of my dry ingredients here. fold these in. Now an angel food cake uses a very specific pan. You can't just bake this in anything because you got to have it not have any kind of, the pan is not non-stick. Did that make sense? You don't want it to non-stick because what makes this cake rise are these egg whites. And if you have non-stick, they don't have anything to hold on to in your cake pan. You want them to hold on to the side of your pan. So it must be non-stick. And it's also a tube pan that the center comes out almost like a cheesecake pan. We'll show you that in just a second. I think I'm completely mixed in. I don't want to overwork this and lose the air in my egg whites. All right. So this is our angel food cake pan. So the center comes out like this. It's a tube pan is what it's called. But it's got these feet on it because when we finish baking it, we're going to cool it upside down, and these feet will keep it from the pan itself touching your countertop so that we allow the gravity to help it stay fluffy. So again, this is a non-stick pan. I will leave my pan linked in the description box if you want to check it out. And if you're interested in making this, if you don't already have a angel food cake pan. So we're going to spoon this in. Very gently. I'm going to take my offset spatula here, make sure I got everything off this spatula. We're going to spread this out and make sure it is level in our cake pan. We don't want to push down on it, we just want to spread it out. All right, next thing we do is get a wet paper towel and clean up these edges because these will burn that are inside of there. And when I say wet, it's like very wringed out, so we're not dripping anywhere. But just want to make sure this is all cleaned up around the middle and the edges. So we're going to get our cake into the oven on the bottom third. Ooh, don't push up on that on accident. The bottom third of the oven. We're going to put this in there on 350 for 35 to 40 minutes. All right, I got my timer set for 35 minutes. When it comes out of the oven, like I said, we are going to turn it upside down and let it cool on the counter for 1 hour, but we'll be back to show you that. All right, this has come out of the oven, and this is where we are going to flip this upside down and pray for the best. This is kind of scary. I don't want it to fall. All right, here we go. Okay, so we'll let this cool for 1 hour, just like this. Okay guys, this is going to be the real test here, whether we can get this out of the pan and whether we haven't collapsed. It's been an hour. Looks good so far. I am gonna try, and I don't really want to scratch my cake pan surface, so I'm gonna use my offset spatula before I use the butter knife. And I'm gonna go around the edges. There are little rivets here. I don't know if you can see these where the feet are, so make sure you don't get caught up on those and damage those. Just go around your edges. It actually looks like my center has pulled away already. All right. The next scary part. Well, actually, let's pull it out this way. There we go. And now we want to run our knife or spatula along the bottom here. All right, I think we went all the way around. Now I'm going to turn this is going to be kind of dangerous, I think. Let me see. Ooh. There we go. We did it. Center this a little better. There we go. All right, we're going to give a little dusting of powdered sugar. All right, let's cut us up a slice. I'm gonna get a serrated knife to cut this with. You don't have to use a big old bread knife. I just have a steak knife that's serrated. If you can see the serrations, and that's what I'm gonna use. It's very pillowy. Oh, look at the texture of that. It's so soft. I left a little piece of it, but I didn't cut all the way through. There we go. All right, I'm going to, I whipped up some whipped cream. I just put a little bit of sweetener in my whipped cream, some sugar, and whipped it. When it's special holidays like Valentine's, you pull out the special bowl. This is like a heart-shaped bowl. Didn't cost me any extra, I already had it. So we'll serve a little bit of whipped cream on here. And then we have some little mixed berries. We can serve with it. Some raspberries and some blueberries and some blackberries. Alrighty, we're gonna give this a taste test. All right, your family would be so impressed. Get a pretty piece of dinnerware, dessert plate out, salad plate. Put your little cake on there that was very little ingredients. I guess the worst thing would be buying the dozen eggs if you have to buy them. I have chickens, so I have all my eggs fresh. But let's give this a bite. I'm gonna go with a raspberry. The cake is so soft. Almost has a texture of a marshmallow. That is so good. So light. I'm also thinking you could put lemon extract in there instead of the vanilla. There's so many possibilities with this. I hope you give this recipe a try. Make some fun, fancy things for your family at home for Valentine's Day. I said Thanksgiving earlier. Totally meant Valentine's. Just bring out the pretty dishes and serve them up a wonderful meal. So we're going to be having 2 meals, 2 dinner ideas and 2 dessert ideas. And again, like I said, I will link my videos I did last year with Valentine's Day ideas, and you can check those out also. I'll pop a playlist here on the side if you want to check out some other videos also, and then my little logo will be on this side, and you could touch that and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.